you guys did first.
Panhandle,
So we were like, we didn't know how much to get.
Probably 8 or 9.
We had more. That's a long walk. People don't realize how long the walk is.
It warms up.
You know, what's fast? You're talking to people.
Plus it's all swamped.
Well, you got a trailer, you guys could decorate one, you guys could all ride in the trailer.
Yeah, actually, my trailer, I had to get it repaired.
I've been went to the key.
We could have. We could have. Next year we'll do that.
So,
Oh
man.
It felt like it was a different country, really.
Yeah, it's.
We ran out too. And I told my guys to bring it up, and then I was driving, and I'm like, oh, this is very good. Everyone's looking at us. I'm like, I'm okay.
Somebody go to the dollar store. Somebody go to the dollar store.
The dollar store, which one? Which dollar store?
It's the May of the Day proclamation.
Yeah.
It was raining, it was at the board meeting.
Okay. I got a little light reading.
Yeah. You read that already?
You what?
You read it already?
I just got it.
You're chairman right now.
Thank you.
Shoot, you're chairman, right?
Nope.
So it's 4 o'clock, so I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Derek, can you conduct roll call?
Mr. Barnes? Here. Mr. Christensen?
Here.
Mr. Clark?
Here.
Mr. Herman?
Here.
Mr. Taylor?
Here.
Alderman Wall?
Here.
Mr. Seeflat?
Here. I would ask everyone to please look over the agenda. And I'll entertain a motion to approve or disapprove.
I make a motion to approve once everybody looks over and sees anything.
Second. Drew seconded? Second. Drew seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Please look over the minutes from our last meeting. I'll entertain a motion to approve or disapprove.
I move we approve.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Reports, please look over the reports from our last meeting. And again, I'll entertain a motion to approve or disapprove the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Report?
Yep, the reports.
Yes, sir, minutes.
I have a second.
All these pictures and stuff, is that for the reports from last month, or is it new stuff?
Yes.
It's the quarter. It's all the reports from the last meeting for the entire quarter. I think it started in September.
These are September, October, November.
It's November 11th, I think. Well, we go in, that's when we go into the new business, and he'll go over what's new.
Okay. I'll second.
Yeah, I have highlights of that.
We got a second?
Drew did.
Oh, Drew seconded, did you hear it? All right. All approved? Any opposed? Motion carries. Next order of business is to discuss, the new items. Mr. Hushin, will go over the, current project statuses.
Okay. These are the topics we're gonna look at. Just a quick permit update on the MS4, some training, that we had this past quarter, took up pretty much a whole month, for the whole stormwater department. Some public outreach we did, some teamwork projects where we worked with Public Works, and good example of working together as a team out there at Public Services. Some maintenance of the existing infrastructure, the capital improvement projects, in particular Apache Trail, and some drainage concerns that are in the works right now. So For the MS4, the compliance evaluation we had for illicit discharge, that happened right after our last meeting. PDAC had determined that we successfully developed and implemented MCM3 for illicit discharge, so they were happy with the way we were handling that portion of the permit. They also accepted a complete submittal of the annual report for 2022 and 2023. So I think I got that wrong on there. It should say 2022 and 23. Because 24 hasn't been here yet. I'll have to correct that. But yes, they accepted that. And currently, I'm reviewing. There's in next year's report and the following year, we're going to have to develop some monitoring. There's a monitoring component in the permit that we'll have to address and report on. The way that we are reviewing permits, some of the new EnerGov things are helping out a lot with the way we receive plans and review plans, and are going through that process to keep it smooth. Enforcement's always a big one with track out, and that's MCM4 track out, just stabilization, always constant concern. So the tracking and monitoring and staying on top of these developers. And the long-term maintenance agreements is going to be ongoing for a long time, not with just the new ones that are coming in under newly accepted developments, but also what existing infrastructure out there where we have to start bringing some of those up to speed as well. So that's pretty much everything going on with the MS4 permits.
And Mike does have that authority to talk to previous businesses that were pre-MS4. He's allowed to get with those folks and require a long-term lease agreement.
Yes, Title 18 does specify that we can enter into contracts or that agreement with existing infrastructure. So there's some ponds and things out there that I'm working on. I have some hot spots picked out that I'm trying to address first that just need some maintenance, and also that annual reports that they are supposed to be submitting to us as well. A big part of this past quarter was training. Ed and Jacob and Tristan all were at CDL school for 3 weeks, so it was real quiet for 3 weeks. So all 3 had passed, and we now have 3 new CDL drivers in the Stormwater department. So they did a good job.
What if they wanted to go and drive CDLs full time?
I told them they weren't allowed.
So, yeah, it's a combination for sure, but the reason why they got them is because when they pull the dump truck and they pull the trailer, it's
not
the weight.
stiffed up.
Yeah, so they have to. We only have one in Isaiah.
Yeah, it was hard to transport equipment.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
waiting. So now we don't have. Ed especially is real happy. He's
nice.
He doesn't have to wait for somebody to become available, so we can just jump right on it. Public outreach, trailer treats was big turnout. It was a lot of fun. We had Sonny Salamander there with us, and it was a big hit. The Christmas parade, which is kind of December, but I thought we'd better bring that up since we got second place in public services for our floats. I had bragged about that a little bit.
Oh yeah, I think it's the first time one of the city floats have ever won a prize.
And it was a great message too. Only rain down the drain.
The 3 Ps, buddy.
That's what it's all about.
I think it should be first.
Did they really?
Yeah, I think it was the best float out there.
Yeah.
So I also threw in there the tree giveaway. We did sign up at the level 3. Just like we did last year. That won't be until March 18th. So I'm looking to piggyback on maybe some other events we have in the spring for the tree giveaway. It apparently was pretty popular last year, so a lot of people came out for it. So we'll be ready for that in March. But the trees have been secured. They're ready for us to be picked up. I think the Friday before that. So we're ready to go. Some teamwork, some work we did with Isaiah's crew and some of the public works. Just working with debris pickup. You know, the guys came together, you know, with the claw truck there, and we helped out with some traffic control, putting the snow plows together, and everybody's been working together, getting those, making sure they're ready to go. Tyree Springs, that's a new cement mixer there that we tried out on one of those, that inlet drain there, which you can see it's got the concrete on the corner was leaking and causing a big hole in their yard. We sealed that up real quick with that new concrete mixer. Worked real well. That job was quick and fast and easy, and it's a big help with that. Morgan Trace we worked together on. Complain about that big gutter swale across the road. We tried to do the valley, the gutters, the valley gutters, they just weren't really made for that size. We hoped it would soften it up a little bit for them, but it just kind of added another bump. So we ended up taking them out. They said they'd rather have it. We are looking into maybe some grates in there. I'm still getting some proposals for that.
I think maybe something with a grate
Yeah.
that was flat, that you could just drive straight over.
Yeah.
The rainwater would go in there and just kind of spread.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm working on. I'm going to get some proposals.
All right, that'd be great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
See what kind of costs we're looking at.
It's the only one we have like that in the city. It's just kind of weird.
It's a weird one. I've
Yeah.
never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
And it's 48 inches wide. I mean, it's 4 feet wide.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's teamwork there. Some maintenance of the existing infrastructure, Union Road cleanup. That was a hydraulic line broke there. We worked with the developer there, making sure that hydraulic fluid got soaked up, and cleaning out their track out there and getting their rocks out of the road. The hot spot maintenance there, that's Valvoline right there on 76. They just weren't maintaining their infrastructure there. Just a couple of little, you know, we brought the owner out and showed him just a couple of little shovelfuls, and that water started draining right away. So it's just a matter of you know, pointing out to him the things that he needs to be looking for to prevent that ponding water there out front. And he was very thankful, you know, that we came by and showed him, and he said he'd be keeping an eye on it in the future. So that's what we need, is for them to keep that maintenance there. The culvert, you can see all the leaves. Whew, leaves! I've never seen so many leaves. Just unbelievable leaves. And everybody loves to blow them into the ditches. So we've been talking to a lot of people about that's not where they go. They don't go in the ditches. We got free bags, and they can bag them up, and we'll pick them up even. So, but that culvert in particular is right there by Hillwood, in between Hillwood and right by the mills. And the leaves just came right down and just about clogged that thing up. But the guys took care of that in no time, just got it flowing again. 129 Oak Park Court, that was just some improving the ditch there, some culverts that had filled up, weren't flowing, standing water. Guys came in and did a good job opening that stuff. Same thing on Tyree Springs. Just long-term maintenance, you know, sedimentation, and those pipes just start to close off, and the water doesn't flow. They just need some help. Okay, capital improvement projects. Hobbs Drive, I sent the notice of termination for that. That's been sent. Villages Court, sent the notice of termination for that. Apache Trail, we're up against the salamander deadline. Not gonna be done in time. We did get the channel straightened. We had some conflict on the north side where we had to move the wing wall a little bit. The creek really turned hard around the corner, so we were able to work with the contractor and get some trees out and kind of soften that curve up a little bit, make that water flow a little bit better.
So if you look at the bottom right, you can see the rebar, it kind of brought it in, so the water will smack the wall and kind of like curve around, so it wouldn't wash the bank out.
Yeah, Mike, you did a great job asking TDEC for the extension. I think you wrote it up really well, explaining how by giving us a couple more weeks to get the job done would save us from having further erosion in that area and having to keep the road closed and all that. I have to say I was really disappointed with TDEC's response back to you. It was just a short sentence that just said, no, we don't give extensions.
Yeah.
It's like that was pretty disappointing after you pointed out why it was really important that we get these other 2 weeks to get this done. So now we're going to have to work around it until when's it open back up?
May 1st, I think.
Yeah, and the only thing they recommend is that they said if you want to go and have it in.
Yes, I did get a quote just to elaborate on that.
Yeah.
Actually, TDEC, believe it or not, I talked to TDEC first.
Okay.
TDEC said, we don't care. It's up to TWRA.
Oh, that's right, it was TWRA.
Yep.
No.
And when I contacted them, she was the one that responded with, no, we don't make exceptions. And in spite of all the safety concerns I brought up with, a power pole that needs a wing wall for support and just sidewalks and traffic and bus routes and they just would have none of it.
Yeah, their only concern is the salamanders, right? And
That's
they're not
all
even sure
they
there's any
care.
in that area. But in order
Well,
for us to
yeah.
determine otherwise, we have to spend $5,000 to have.
Her offer, yep, we got the quote with the help of Jason. We talked to somebody that it said not to exceed $5,000. That was basically the option was to do a survey to see if the salamander was there on December 15th, and if it was not there, 45 days later we could do another survey, and if it was not there the second time, then we could continue to work. But if it shows up in either one of those surveys, it's done.
And you lose 45 days anyway because they won't let you start if there's nothing there in the beginning. You got to wait 45 more days before they'll even let you start.
So it's not worth it.
It just wasn't worth it. I didn't think to spend that money and then only to find out there probably might be one little one there hanging out somewhere.
It's a gamble, yeah.
Yeah,
So
You could start in February.
Yeah.
It would
It's not May.
So did we have to?
well, if we got the exception.
Is that what happened?
No, we get just water line. But I guess my question is like, how come the water line's in the way? Because we hydro excavated all that prior to. So what happened?
It was different when they excavated it up.
Mm-hmm. That happens a lot with water lines. You find them.
Yeah.
For the utility district. They don't
We
know where all the lines
hydro
are.
excavated.
No, we hydro excavated.
And
They
located
spotted
those
it
two
and they
points.
found the line. Yeah. So something happened because when I talked to Covenant Constructors, they said that something happened from the time it was shot in to the time it got to the plans. They said they don't know, but they said that because when they shot it in, they said it was wrong on the plans. Is what they said. So something happened from the time it got shot in the field to the time it got on the plans. So
That's what delayed us, right? The water line?
yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like this was something that was we discussed this back in February. Said that just what Phil Castelline said back on February 22nd, just to add to Jason's update, the villages and Apache water lines are deep enough to clear the proposed culverts. So something happened from there to the time that we started doing the project where the water line is in conflict. Because we spent a good amount of money up front, hydro excavating all that stuff. So what happened from the time it got shot in to the time it got to the plants?
It may have been that the measurement that was taken out there was wrong. I mean, we received the information of what those were, but what I can tell you is from even the 2 points that we had, the water line between the two known points was different. So we didn't excavate the entire water line.
Yeah, I thought we did both sides of the creek. No, Mike, did we not do both sides? Were you here for that?
No, I was not.
We
I said you were. We did both sides, right? They found both sides of that pipe, I'm pretty sure that,
Both sides of Apache Trail is what I remember. I don't remember being hydro excavated on both sides of the street.
no, you're right, yeah, that's the one side, cause that's where the line was.
It
But yeah,
was-
they found both
There's that
ends.
large tree.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a 4 or
Yeah.
6, is that a 6-inch?
I don't even know what that was.
The water line,
Can't remember.
it's a 10 or 12 inch.
Oh,
I think it might be 6 or 8 maybe. Not too big.
How do you misplace a line that big?
Well,
How do they
it's
know?
only at the known points.
Yeah, I mean,
Is what I'm
how do they
saying.
make that mistake when they're,
What mistake?
He's saying,
I mean,
they measured it at a certain point.
I'm saying you had two known points, and when you excavate it up, the conflict is actually the part that's still buried.
gotcha.
So when you lay that out by plans, it was good, is what I'm saying. So when they excavated it up and you can, all that shot in, it's in conflict.
So in the meantime,
It's only a short section,
Yeah.
right at the wing wall. So I don't know if it was a change in position of the line between those 2 points, horizontal position or vertical.
It was vertical because that's what they're saying. The confusion, or not the confusion, but it was the depth of that. And they did find both sides, and it's up to iron, so it shouldn't have done this. It should have been a straight shot across. Whether or not you had a level here and a level there, it should have been shot. But I guess the emails are saying that they're, quote unquote, that they were all going to require split casing because it was supposed to be low enough.
Right, that tells you how close it was, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's within 12 inches if that's accurate. You know,
I think it was,
if
what,
all that
18
code.
inches off?
So
I think you said it was 18 inches off.
You can see
maybe
it's
at
sticking
those
up pretty
points
good.
or at the point of conflict, all that matters.
Yeah.
But the main thing is, right now, we have to kind of button up the job until,
Well, I
Until
talked
he-
with TWRA today too, after seeing his email to just make sure we'd exhausted everything possible. And, the one thing that she highlighted, and Mike may have already known this, I didn't, was that it's not that you have to necessarily button it up back to existing conditions, you just cannot work in that creek. So really, we have to button it up to the level of it's safe. You know, if you wanna open the road, for instance, you've gotta have that road stable. And we can't have erosion, you know, continuing to run off into the creek uncontrolled.
Mhm.
But the reality is, we don't have to backfill everything to the existing condition.
No.
so can we,
Just stop work in the water.
have we moved the water line yet? Has that been moved? So is it gonna get moved? Or they're gonna not do that either until this time?
You know, that's not completely in our control, it's not really in our control at all, so.
Can't be done before the deadline, which is what, the
The
14th,
15th.
No.
15th?
No,
So it's not gonna get done. So now, they have to go into the water to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In
And
order
then they
to
gotta
do
do pressure
Yeah.
Well, they'll have to stop.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
sent
they-
Danny Miller
Yeah.
the permit that we had,
But
so
that means they
he's
can't go
aware
in,
of that.
but they can't go in, so that means we can't
They
do the
can't
job.
either, yeah, they're.
So that stops the
relocating.
job, so that water line's moved, so the earliest they can get back out there to move the water line would be February, you're saying, middle of
May
Well, it depends on
May
his
1st?
decision.
May 1st. That's the salamander
So the culvert
restriction.
work, did the culvert work, was the water line running beside the creek? This is all before me.
It crosses the creek.
It crossed under the creek.
Yeah, that picture on the left you can see is,
Yeah, that's what I was
South
trying to figure out,
side.
y'all moved, did the creek get moved in any
it's
fashion?
running parallel to the road. You can see the box
No,
culvert.
they just dug around it because that's where
Dug around
the
it?
wing wall's gotta go.
Well, they just- Can they not cut it on either side of the creek and
pull it
reroute it?
That's what they're doing.
Yeah,
It doesn't really show.
If they were trying to case it,
because you don't want it under a creek anyway.
Just
I mean, to be honest.
Little,
oh, they're going to relocate it a little bit deeper, and it's gonna have to be a little bit offset horizontally too,
Right.
to get around the existing pipe, but it's pretty much gonna stay in the same position that it is, just to clear the box.
And there's 2 boxes left to set after that pipe is.
And right now, they're sitting in
the
somebody's
road.
yard, or
In
where
the
is it?
road.
They're in the road. I've already,
So what are we gonna do with it? I know we had cranes take them over there, we don't wanna crane them back out of there, do we?
well, if, that homeowner, if we clean his yard up, and we do have easement in there there's a wastewater easement, but it's like in the middle of the property.
Mm.
And it's kind of butts up to the road right away.
Pretty contentious with that guy. And easement just means we have access.
Yeah,
to
I
the
almost,
storage.
maybe we could put them on the other side.
Now, we do have right of way, which is the first, 10, 15 feet off the road, we could stick them there, but I mean, is that something we wanna do? I don't know, I would complain if I was a homeowner, so. They may be able to load them up or bring them back, they got the equipment there, but the only thing is how you gonna unload it at the plant, that's the problem. They can load it, but we can't unload it.
We all leaving it on that vacant lot.
That
That's not
vacant
vacant,
lot,
that's
he's,
his.
Well, not vacant, it's not his, it's the neighbor behind him.
Oh, you're talking about the other side of the road now?
oh,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
middle spot, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I was gonna
fine,
say.
they've been cooperative.
The lady behind him actually owns it. And they
Yeah.
have-
We're on the other side of the road though, further up.
The big empty lot is owned by the house
Behind
next to
him.
it.
Yeah.
And I would prefer to get that lot
No,
cleaned
yeah.
up because
Yeah, it's
he's
a blue
been a
lot, so
little,
they
he's
require
been
it.
generous and gracious, I
I knew
think.
moving a creek.
And I would
was
not
for
like to take
working
advantage
around
of things.
creeks was.
I think that
They're
would
gonna
cause
sit there till
problems.
May, so.
He's a lawyer.
I think, yeah, I think that would cause problems, so.
Yeah.
He was good when we talked to
Hoping to
him.
butt him up.
He just wanted more communication, he didn't know what was
He's
going
never
on.
called.
Yeah. And
Oh, this is a
and his
different
tractor was literally
Yeah,
parked in front of his house.
this is on the
Yeah, they
east
parked everything.
side.
Yeah.
That's a different.
And they told me it'd be 2 weeks.
Okay.
It's a full
That's
lot.
on the move,
The problem is that the sewer easement cuts it diagonal.
Okay. All right, well, I guess you guys have to keep working on it, it looks like, try to clean up what you can, and then maybe we get back out there and finish it up, I guess.
So that means we're not doing the salamander.
No, we're not gonna do that, I'm not
I
gonna.
don't think that.
Does TWRA, do they have to inspect the project once it's done for the salamander? Or do they just assume that the
They put a
salamander still lives
restriction
when it
on
happens?
you. You either work in the 6 months that's not its breeding season,
Yeah,
or if you want to work in that period, that's the inspection.
so there's no confirmation that there's a salamander there right now?
No,
No.
that's if you want to work in their 6 months breeding season, you have to do those inspections. And they have to be done during the breeding season.
The ARAP has a special condition that says you will not do stream work from December 15th until April 30th.
But they don't verify it on site. That's where they're requiring you to get a third party to go do that verification, if you wanna work in that.
So let's just say hypothetically, 50 years from now, the salamander no longer exists and didn't exist for the last 51 years. Whoever 50 years from now decides to do work there, they're gonna have to adhere to the same restrictions, assuming that they don't change? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're thinking of that.
That ARAP is, anytime there's stream work, water work, that's what that ARAP is for. The first, it goes to TDEC, but the first thing TDEC asks you for is habitat confirmation from TWRA. So the first thing that happens is they say, hey, we have this permit application, and they say, okay, there's no conflicts, or there is a salamander within, known within a mile, so you have a restriction.
Is there anything else we have to do to start back up in May with TDEC
No.
or TWRI?
No.
Okay.
We renewed the permit already as well.
All right, good. Well, anyways, that's the last of those 3 big projects we were working on.
It is, we were so close.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
What did you get done before June 30th? For special.
As long as those chickens were good.
I think, isn't it June 1st they can start?
Yeah, we'll put chickens.
It's not
in
May
the
1st.
middle of the
I
water.
Isn't it June?
I thought it was May 1st.
I thought it at end of May.
Do your
I don't know.
salamander check.
I can't
There's
remember.
none there.
I'll
Somebody
find
shows
out.
up.
Well, yes, to answer your question, it
Suppose
would
if
be
you
done
run
by
there right
June.
for your second
Take
check,
that.
45 days
It'll take
later.
them 2 weeks to finish that.
I think it's May 15th. Wow. It's a 6 month, it's 6 months.
Yeah.
If it was December, yeah.
By the time they mobilize, it'd be June, but it wouldn't take them, it'll take them a day to set those 2 box culverts, and then the wing wells would take forever, because they gotta form it. Rebar.
3 acres.
It's gonna be real close.
Baby.
So it's gonna go into after
Yeah.
June, you think?
Oh, yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
gonna go into the next
that's
one.
the
So we
budget.
have our, yeah, there'll just be some labor, so you make sure you budget for that for next year.
I can't talk to
So
John.
June, May.
You can't just slide in 6 months.
Yeah.
I mean, all I can say is that be on John's spot, tell them to be there May 15th, mobilize and get it done. They could do it, they could get it done.
Are we
As long
doing
as the water
anything else
is-
with the other projects?
Sir?
Are we leaving those as they are right now?
The what, what's
What?
that?
The other 3 locations, like the the curving, asphalt finish and stuff, or are we leaving those as they
Yeah.
are now and?
Spring. But, you know, I take that back.
But they're not tied to the patchy box coat.
If they don't move the water line now, which they are, we may be in a tight crunch, or you may be in a tight crunch, because there's no way to move the water line, wait the 2 weeks, get the pressure test, get back, and then start doing that. It's gonna be tight window, man. They could do it. It's gonna be tight though. Somebody's gonna have to be on them.
We call Danny.
Call Danny. Well, no, I mean, he's out of it now anyways. I mean, he already proved this just now, the salamander restrictions, so.
Yeah, Covenant is doing it.
Yeah.
On the water line, right?
Yeah.
Can we do as much work and like, can we get the sidewalk in or?
No, because, let me see, is that the side, that's the, which side is it? Yeah, they probably could, they could do on top. Yeah, on that one side.
We're allowed to work on top, as
Yeah.
long as we're not in the water. I mean, we can't obviously build any wing walls or anything like that.
I don't see why not, you could,
But you could put those big pieces of infrastructure in if that line was moved, right?
right.
That, well, yeah.
And he says he can't do it that quick, right?
We can't get the line moved fast enough to set the last two boxes.
Okay, all right, well.
And it's exposed currently, right?
Yes.
The water line looks just like that in
That
that
could be a
left
problem
picture.
here soon. We have another freeze like we had last December.
Don't say that.
Oh,
Not our problem.
As long as it doesn't affect the salamander, they don't care, so,
What's that happening?
just saying.
Yeah,
They,
I know.
but I don't know.
You're right though, the saying.
But we need to, if we're, so we're dead in the water
That's
after
the water
December
line right
fifteenth.
No pun intended, yes.
Okay,
Don't
so
be fooled by it.
we need to clean up, as much as we can around there
That
and
was
make
when
it
they
as
were
preventable
digging it.
as possible.
They just
for that,
didn't wanna
for
get
whoever
it.
I told,
So-
I saw an email the other day, get prepared to start getting it cleaned
Yeah.
up. But I think like what Mike was alluding to, they may be able to do some of that sidewalk, cause that wing wall on that other side is done.
Yeah, the north side.
All this is poor, that's an old
So,
picture.
so that water line was not very far below the ground level, was it?
It had cement all around it. I
Yeah,
think
you
they-
can see the grass and the slope there right
You see
behind
it right
it.
at the
on
So
the
it
side.
was, so this part got dug out,
Yeah, right in there.
around it, so it was, okay, so it really wasn't,
Yeah, and over here where the creek is, this was all encased in concrete on the left side there, yeah.
yeah. It wasn't as deep as it needed to be to begin with.
Well, they didn't have their own easement either, their own drainage,
Yeah.
right? Cause now they wanna fire their own easement to get out of our drainage easement. That was a lot of the issues back in the day, you know, they all shook hands and said, yeah, put it in our easement, it doesn't matter, but now we're running issues where we're trying to do our
Put it right
infrastructure and they're in our easement and they have to move their water line or what have you to get out of the way. So then what the utility district is doing now, every time they move their water line, they're purchasing their own easement, so they have their own. And now they're gonna be out of ours and we'll be in theirs.
That could be ugly if it gets cold.
it will break.
Yeah, might have to ask that question.
What is that pipe made out of? Is it galvanized?
Dr. Weiner,
That's White House.
Black, is iron?
Dr. Weiner plays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been in the ground for a good while then.
Oh, that long, yeah, 25 years probably.
All right, on a separate note, you can see behind that orange fence on the left side there, that stump. We can thank CEMC for that. They took that out because of the power line conflict and proximity, so
And
they came out and did all that
kudos to
work
Mike
for
and
us.
his crew because he actually identified that, called CMC, we didn't pay for it, CMC went out there and did it. So the
Yeah.
guys are always looking for ways to save money, so good job, Mike.
Yeah, they took that whole tree out, so, and that head wall, that wing wall is actually gonna end up right up against that stump when it's done. So,
It was gone this morning.
yeah,
The whole stump and
CEMC
everything,
did that.
broken of the stump and all.
They came and wiped that whole thing out in about an hour. Shipped it and hauled it off and everything.
So how do you fix it how do you get it covered up right now? You don't, do you?
All right,
I
let's
think you can
see.
taste it,
Oh, boy. More
if that's
fun.
gonna work enough to give enough, insulation or not.
Some drainage concerns, 219 Hobbs on the left there. You can see in that top picture how, now, on the right-hand side over there is where the outfall for Cope's Crossing is. and it comes through their fence and into their yard, which has a 10-foot drainage easement, and then it passes under their fence into this yard with the truck in it is 221 Hobbs. Now they gave us permission to do we're going to do a little work over here to help this water flow out here better. But 219 Hobbs, right behind the outfall, has expressed a lot of concerns about the outfall and the drainage, and they've requested to see the drainage calculations, and so I'm replying to them that they can do a public records request for the drainage calculations, and we're trying to help them. At this point, they want us to stay out of their yard, which isn't a problem because that was a pretty good rainfall, and you can see it still kind of flows through, where the drainage easement is, and that is what it was designed to do, and there is easement there, so it's close. But they want us to stay out of theirs for now, and they're going to do a public records request for.
Is that bottom one from Copes, you said?
Yes, the bottom one, the bottom picture for Hobbs that's the outfall now as it's constructed with the emergency spillway. You can see where a little bit of sediment laden discharge came out and hit the kind of spreader swale there. They did have to, at the time of that picture on top, they were adjusting the outfalls at that time, so they were pretty much flowing freely. At every rain, I've been inspecting them almost weekly now, and Sean's been doing at least his monthly inspections, if not more, for other violations and track out and stabilizations and things like that. So we've been watching them real close. That outfall is functioning normally now. It did have a little bit of a leak that Pulte's going to fix that. But so I don't anticipate this ever looking like this now that the outfall is functioning normally. So I'll copy everybody on that email. They're gonna, I'm sure the drainage calculations will show that there's probably less water on their property now than there ever was before. So they're more than welcome to look at them. Hillwood Drive was sort of the same. Those 4 pictures in the middle was sort of the same problem. You can see they've got the spreader swale on the top left there, where it was designed to spill off to the right, but they didn't have enough fill on the back side of it there, so it was spilling out around the tree. If you look at the picture on the top right, you can see that the big tree on the right that has some drainage coming off to the right side, which took it straight towards the house and it got to the house before it turned back into the swale. So we got in there and improved that swale, fixed, had the mills fix their outfall, so this now all spills over the concrete on the right side directly into our swale and bypasses the house completely. So that's all been resolved. In fact, you can kind of see on the bottom right picture how everything now is flowing in the easement there where it was supposed to.
Okay.
So that one I also feel is functioning normally now and shouldn't be any issues. Both of those properties are real low in the back, and so.
What kind of runoff did they have before the construction started?
Historically, they had similar type issues.
They did? Okay.
Yeah, it was very similar. That you can see in the top right how it's real low and right by that left corner of the house there. In fact, they had actually hand dug a little swale for their gutter pipe to try and get it over to our swale here. So, and it was due for improvements, and that outfall structure going in was the perfect time to do it because with the attention of that, you know, it's just, the flow is, you know, less, but, perception, you know, with that pipe there and that spreader swale, you know, people get a heightened awareness of it, so, but it's working real good now, so. And then Collin Crossing, we just met with them today. They've got to do, the developer agreed to try and get some positive drainage, positive flow in the back to get it to the pond there. The engineer, they're gonna reshoot everything. They need as-built. We've been saying it all along. We need as-built. We need current. Just tell me what it is, so we can determine if it's functioning the way it was designed. So, I think somebody busted out there on that bottom right picture. I think there was a V-notch in there that somebody might have busted out. I think there's some stuff that's happened over time. But the problem is, there is a document that says the HOA was formed, but the homeowners have never done anything, I think, to establish it, or it's established, but it's never been enacted or functioning.
There's no board been elected?
No.
I don't.
Still not?
They don't have a board.
Yeah.
I've never seen any kind of acceptance, at least on maybe on the wastewater, but not stormwater. I've never seen any formal acceptance.
Well, I brought up a question to that attorney at that meeting when they had that community meeting. I said, were all of these folks, did they all sign off on HOA at their closing?
Yeah.
And he looked at me, he said, well, they should have. And I said, well, you didn't answer my question. I said, did they? And that question never got answered. So if
I
you've
asked
got,
it today.
if you
I was
have one
just gonna
person,
say that.
if there's one of those people who did not have that paperwork presented to them, that HOA is dead in the water.
Yeah.
So, and that's gonna fall back on that developer.
I asked him today, he said yes.
Everybody signed off
What
on
he
the
told me,
HOA.
That's what he said
Brian
today.
Cook kind of like supported and said yes. I was like, I don't
Well,
believe
you won't,
it.
you have to go back, you got to go to all the property owners, yeah, so.
Yeah. I think it was positive, it was good, but at
Yes.
the same time, there was a lot of negatives in that meeting today. We were not seeing eye to eye on a lot of
Well,
things.
they started doing something, started talking about it.
That's what we
need to
said.
get in there and
Yeah.
do
Craig
something.
actually pulled me back after I talked to the lawyer. He's like, dude, don't even worry about him. He's like, I'm paying him. He's a not very nice guy. But I was like, well, I mean, at the end of the day, we're here for a resolution. And he's like, because I'll tell you what happened. And you know, like I said earlier, I told the board as well. The lawyer asked me, Brian Cook asked me, he's like, can the city go up there and help us out? I said, I'll tell you what you can do. You can go to BOMA, you can sign up for your 3-minute little spiel and talk to BOMA and ask them. I said, I don't have the authority to go in a brand new subdivision and go in there and start helping you out. I said, they would probably, freak out. So I said, but I would prefer if you went to them and asked them for permission or tell them the story and give them the backstory. The lawyer came all included. He was like, that's not, I was like, the little guy.
He gave a clue to that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I set him straight, and I'm like, dude, listen, I'm here, I was like, you talk like a man or don't talk to me. I was like, because I said, I'm answering the man's question. He asked me what to do, and he was actually fine with it. Because Brian came talk to me later about it, and he's like, I don't care, I'll go ask. I'm like,
The attorney.
You love him.
the
He's
attorney
adamant
was
that
the
it's
rude
an
one.
HOA problem.
He was rude.
And I said, without the city's acceptance, I don't even have a long-term maintenance agreement from them.
No, I know, yeah. it's-
So I said, as far as we're concerned, it's still his problem because it never was accepted.
Yeah.
So he was mad at me about that too, because I said, I don't care. I said, if our standards say you're supposed to have it prior to, I said, I need it. I don't matter. I said, I'm not playing the blame game. I said, so whether or not the city got it or not, it was an oversight, right? So, okay, I'll take the blame for that. So at the end of the day, I need that document. That's required by every developer that comes to the city White House. We have an MS4. And I don't know why you keep trying to flip the coin like,
This whole subdivision.
He made a mistake, and he's gonna have to pay for it, is what's gonna happen.
well, they said they would do it, but then they said they would sign it over to the HOA, is what they said. And I'm like, that's fine, as long as we have one in place, that's all I need. I don't
You're
care.
talking about the long-term
Yes.
maintenance agreement.
Yeah, and what you're gonna find is there was some people who did not have HOA agreements, and he knows that, and that's why he's being the way he's being about it, because, I had a situation with my subdivision when I moved in, they did not tell me about my HOA until I got to closing. Well, this is 28 years ago, and they were reasonably new at the time, and I was like, I'm not living in an HOA, so I didn't sign the agreement, and we don't have an HOA to this day because of it.
And
So-
that's probably what's gonna happen.
So if they didn't sign off on it, if you got some neighbors that didn't sign off on it, what you'll have to do there, you know, they'd have to go around to every,
You can do a title search. right?
you can do a title search and find out.
Can you?
So, I think you can, but,
Yeah.
was there 21 people that live in there?
I think the warranty deed's online.
122.
Cause I asked them to go to the, public records and see if they have a long-term, cause they have to take it to the county to get filed, and apparently it was never done, so.
I mean,
I have not found it yet.
that's probably the easiest way to fix it is just tell them, look, you're gonna have to produce us proof that there's an HOA, and that's,
But what if they don't? I mean, I think it's stuck in no man's land.
it falls back on him.
How?
Well, the builder's got the lot.
But what can he do?
But he did establish the HOA, believe it or not, I see it, like, it's recorded that
They're
he,
going in there to make those repairs that we talked about today, but on that long-term maintenance issue, I don't see how he can do anything. Like I was saying out there when you were discussing, I said, we could still require him to submit a long-term maintenance plan, but his time to be able to sign off on requiring it on that property is gone. Just like you didn't sign yours, they don't have to sign it, and that now they have the rights to this property for all of them. So if it's not signed in and a requirement on those properties to have it, he can draw a long-term maintenance plan that we can do nothing with.
Right.
So, but it's still, okay, what do we do then? Because I think that's what we would find.
it's twofold too, because after talking with Brian on the side again, he said that the bond didn't cover the front and rear ditches, it covered the two ponds.
This is the maintenance
That's it.
pond.
So what good is that really?
He can get his bond, he can get his bond back yet.
No.
He never did his
I
bond.
mean, this is a subdivision that, you know, there was a lot of politics involved in this one, you know, and there was a lot of emotion and I just, everything was wrong with this whole thing. From, it doesn't require underground utilities, didn't require sidewalks, we didn't require, you know, mutual access points, so there was supposed to be 4 units to 1, we didn't make them put a road behind it. Everything just went south on this thing from the beginning. That's why I'll be surprised if they do establish an HOA and that we don't end up having to maintain at least the frontage. I mean, they're gonna end up being just individually owned lots. They were developed by different developers, I mean builders, not developers, but different builders went in there and completed those lots. So nothing seemed like, I mean, they did at least put, we did make them put gravity, I think, in there, didn't we? Or they each have their own little grinders or not? I think they're on gravity. I think we put them all on gravity there.
There's a gravity line that goes down that property, but I can't remember.
I think we required all of them to be on
I think
gravity.
it crosses the street.
It does, the Concord spring to that
So
lift
the
station.
pond is the only thing that, would be HOA owned?
So, let's say hypothetically, the worst case, they don't.
They don't have street lights, they don't have
Yeah,
updated.
we'll have to mow the pond.
You'll have to adopt the pond.
Adopt the pond, yeah.
That might be the only thing we may
Well,
have
see, I
to.
know somebody moved in, one of those, and they signed the HOA when they closed, but they've never gotten into.
Supposedly.
And never had a bill or anything.
It's speculation as to whether they all even signed documentation. Probably should have brought that up at the special meeting we were at.
Well, I did bring it
Well,
up.
I'm saying we should have asked the homeowners, not the lawyers.
Well, yeah, they weren't all there.
He was shysty.
Now, one woman said she didn't remember having HOA paperwork.
Yeah, it
And,
doesn't mean that they didn't.
Right.
you know, if you prove the validity of that HOA, then that's gonna solve a lot of problems, but who does that? I mean, who's responsible?
Well, I do have a recorded document that the HOA was created.
Yeah, it was created, then the
That's
lawyer
all.
died halfway through the build, so.
She found him off.
He died?
That was recorded.
Yeah, he died, the lawyer that started, that
Yeah.
formed it, but it was never, it just kinda fell apart from that point. So that's why I asked the question, you know, did everybody at closing sign off on the HOA agreement? Because if they didn't,
I think the question was, or I think the answer was they were supposed to.
yeah, he said they were supposed to, but I said, but did they? And he didn't like that question, so, you
Well, see,
know,
we've got somebody that's wanting to close a house there,
yeah.
and the HOA is in the air because they can have a lien against it.
Yeah, they could.
Yeah, they could have a lien against them.
So he was saying the city should start suing the residents for the HOA is what his response was.
The lawyer? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, well, somebody needs to take him out.
No, he told me that today.
Yeah.
Take him to the train station.
Take him to the train station. I didn't like him that night. He was not very nice to me at all.
Well, that's part of his argument too, was that in the past 4 years, the HOA should have been doing maintenance, and.
That's right, they're supposed to be doing
Yeah,
it.
but people who
Don't know
don't
about
know.
it, it doesn't exist.
Right, yeah.
But I think if people live next door, I think we're taking care of it anyways and stuff.
Or we never really accepted it.
We haven't accepted it.
I don't.
There was no road to accept, we didn't accept the public utilities.
I don't see how it goes
Nothing
to the
there,
HOA
so.
until that happens.
So do these developers,
Well, it's only a pond, I think.
are they required
Is
to
it just, I mean, it shouldn't.
make
be.
sure that all happens?
Well, I mean, the detention ponds were only
Yeah.
public.
The HOA
Public
is
ways.
completed and
Public
things
common
are
area.
done.
Yeah,
with-
those are the only
See, that's where the
common
problem is,
areas.
I don't think he's not done that. His
Well,
lawyer
that was
does,
actually the
and-
question.
And usually when you get
Yeah,
all lots
so one of the
sold,
homeowners
you sit
said to
them,
me,
then you,
what if we don't
you
have
say
an
it's up to
HOA?
you to hire a,
And I said,
Right.
A manager
Well,
or
you
somebody.
manage it.
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
you would have to rely.
But the
Well, see, that's the problem, they're not big
You
enough to
know,
have a
what your
management
neighbor
company.
piles right
Nobody would take it.
well, and,
So
and
that's where everybody's
that's
getting-
in the
what
past,
these are,
the developer
you know,
always
that
handles
eventually
it until
turns
they get handed off
to
to
a-
it.
Right, that's right.
you know,
And they
a
haven't handed
restriction.
it off yet.
Then you're gonna have to.
They haven't
then
been
you're
able to
gonna
hand
have
it off, I don't
Depend on your
They
neighbors.
can't,
Because
no
everything
management,
else-
no management company
Trust
will
me,
take it.
that
It's
comes
an
from
extra law.
Yeah, you know, so.
It didn't need, I mean, to be honest, it
didn't need one.
It didn't need one, but because of the pond, I guess.
How many houses is that?
22, actually.
Yeah, it's a 22
The
hours.
21 or 22 houses?
Individual houses or?
They're split,
Yeah.
some on one side of Bill Moss, the other side, like 10 on one side, 11 on the other, whatever, but it's.
Yeah, they all come, they're all the driveways come out to the main road, so.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that the city would be out is taking care of
That
those
would be one
stormwater
thing,
issues.
but then that.
It's when you pass Bill Moss over on the left-hand side, those newer houses.
Well, our meeting today,
Oh,
our meeting today.
Not
we
in- not
agreed
in
to
the
do
neighborhood.
some work and.
20 years ago, you
try
never.
to
Well,
make
some of them may
things
be
work.
off of Bill Moss too.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
yeah, I'm
they
thinking
agreed-
about, I'm thinking
They
about
agreed
this
to
up
say we
here,
put
that's
some
not, that's
asphalt
something
together
different.
for you.
Correct, he agreed to do
Yeah,
that.
he runs the back ditches too.
On the road too, in the culverts in
Yeah.
the front, on the driveway.
Yeah.
So,
Cause there's a lot of standing
And they
water.
did this so they could put them tighter together, I mean, it was, they wanted a PUD and that's just.
So, yeah, so it's these and over there.
Yeah, I think
somebody's
scared they're gonna get hung out to dry on this deal. There's somebody.
I know there's
Somebody.
a creek, pond right through here, one of these.
He knows he's up a little north of that.
Yeah.
yeah, right in there is that pond.
There's one on each side though, right?
Yeah.
There's one on each side of Bill Moss.
Company won't take one that's 20? I know the unit,
Yeah, there's
There's two, but there's only one, we'll have an issue with the one. That I know of, because they do outside maintenance, it's a bigger maintenance deal. This one, it's.
Oh,
They're
yeah,
all-
they got
You're
private
right,
roads
right
in there,
now,
too.
they're all
the
in
drainage
Your mom
back
is private
is
road.
Yeah.
all over the
All over the place.
That's another
So
road.
ponds.
So you get potting water, you get.
They're management companies.
Yeah, they should have never.
Additionally,
HOA for this.
I don't think the outfall structure
Oh,
for
yeah,
the pond
he
is
did, they didn't pay their tax.
correct. I
For
think,
you,
I think there would
Yeah,
be county
from-
stuff.
well, from
So
the,
they're gonna have to
Sheriff,
verify that that.
and they put it on the sheriff's
part,
office, who's
because
gonna buy common property inside
The culvert under Callista is
So they ended up working a deal to give it back, they still owe us taxes. They
real
don't pay
small,
our
and
taxes.
there's a lot of water that ends
That
up
company's
right at the
still
bottom of the
with
hill.
Halo.
Yeah, I know all about
Still
that.
messing
Yeah.
up.
So doubling up everything.
Yeah.
When your first
That was
project.
Halo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with Halo.
Yeah, Halo's
Oh.
and they came in trying to point the finger at us.
But it's not that pipe we put in the ground either, I heard that came up too, that's not why that's messed
That
up
is-
up there, that was because the road was failing. So we had to do something in the meantime to do a short-term solution to fix that. Because I talked to the engineer across the street, I showed him where it's all washing out the other side of the road. And I was like, if you look at this now, this is probably 3 to 4 years worth of washout. Cause remember, she said about 10 times, I was like, I guarantee that's what this is from. This isn't 15 years worth of washout coming across that road, there's no way.
To the neighbors.
That was the case, that whole road would have been collapsed, cause I showed him when we had to fix the road further down, where we were having some issues, where you guys passed that road. So I said, that was the case, this road would be gone. So, that's my philosophy on it, I think that they did put additional flow to that
Because they
pipe.
incorporated
Cause he
all
did
that
concentrate that flow, when it had rain, it should have been dating that pipe.
Right on the top of the hill too.
I was
Yeah.
so
That pipe is,
disappointed, or so was
you know,
Adam, we just didn't
everything's
get.
kind of going the other way.
But,
Yeah, so he came.
I like the dude we were talking to, the field guy.
The homeowner?
No, the field guy.
Oh,
And they said, well, you can do it with
Yeah,
Sheriff.
no, the field guy, what's the guy? The guy.
Oh, the
He's
guy that's gonna do
He's
the.
on, yeah, he was just like, we need this,
Right,
I'm like,
yeah.
well, do it then, like,
Right,
why
and
would you
then-
talking about it?
Get it, 6 months later,
Ended up selling the
the
whole
water
property.
flowed up
All
behind.
this back here.
Yeah, all this.
All of it, yeah, 400 and something acres.
There's always something to do with.
600 homes,
Yeah.
whatever it is.
And if they'd done that from the beginning, we wouldn't have that problem now.
They would have built it.
They would build,
incorporate all of
Yeah, it would have been already incorporated, the backyards would have been against the people of the road, we wouldn't have all these driveway access points, which.
He just sold that last
like
lot,
that
they're building the last house.
People pulling out of the driveway.
So it's not finished, it's not complete.
I think it's finishing the last
He's
house.
gonna build a house over the next 10
Thank you
years.
for more line.
I think he sold it.
Right there, where's
22,
that?
yeah.
He sold it, he made sure to tell me that, he no longer owns any lots there, I said, but you're still the developer, I can sign with the developer, it's an issue, I don't care, if
Then in the
it's
middle,
a
you got
builder, I don't care,
dams,
but you
What
know.
pond was there
a
about?
couple hundred homes on that. It's gonna connect the two subdivisions, top and bottom, together.
So who came in and bought this and what are they gonna do with all that?
Sam Lambert. and-
Oh, back here?
He bought all that, he's got, if you go
And that's
over,
under
he's
the
put,
pond.
he's put roads and everything in there. Yeah, that should be, that whole area is gonna be,
I was gonna say,
1,000 houses in
I'll
that
keep
area.
on my show.
no, I was gonna ask about like transferable rates. I don't understand how that works.
Home building over here in
But my thing is this, and I told him today, the lawyer's like, take that, I don't care though, I said, listen, as public service director, I'm telling you, I'm not accepting the stormwater infrastructure. So if that's the case, you need to fix it before we take it over as a city. Cause then you gotta hold a maintenance bond for a year, so that's where it comes in all that, you know all that.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, why is he not listening?
What kind of bond does he have?
We just couldn't get some else.
As it is now, all those homeowners own that now.
You know, Mr. Jackson,
Developer,
he's a rancher, he was a
Non-expired.
They all bought it.
banker in town, wasn't he?
It's just the issue of the stormwater and the ponds.
And he flooded a story, he needed the
And
money.
they should have had a
Some
long-term
little
maintenance
Parents he was trying to take
agreement.
care of, and.
That would have all been
I get
addressed
that,
and said,
I'm
shoulda,
sure,
coulda,
but we
woulda.
just didn't-
I told Judy and Mike to come to the stormwater, that's where his voice is gonna be heard.
So that's it, that's the big
So if the city doesn't accept it, if the city doesn't accept it, he needs them to take care of it somehow, some way.
Yeah, I wanna accept it.
As soon as they started doing that.
If we don't accept it, then somebody will be going after it like developers. He knows that.
I mean, you would think that he would just have
For the chairman?
hey,
Well, he said,
all.
what he sold those for, was
Yeah,
to
we
take
still
care of all
bring that up.
his
What's
dad.
that?
So he wanted to keep
Business,
it,
yeah.
and he wanted to just sell a piece of it to
Yeah.
get the money that he
He
needed.
did you promote me, 2 years in a row?
Okay, and then he
he
said,
got
promoted.
He got in with a big offer a few months later.
Yeah, and his kids are working in the farm, but don't want to. So
the next
Patty and
meeting.
he'd go out,
We
and
could
look at it.
But actually, Derek said that I could do this meeting, he said we're gonna do it next week, so I even bring it up.
Okay, we'll give you that.
Was his daughter living across the street?
I don't think it was
Yes.
I mean, that's what you now, that house, they're gonna.
Madam Chair.
Yeah,
Who's
now,
like
he
you?
built 2 houses, close to where I live.
At the next meeting, they were gonna do,
I'm voting for Stages for
So
president.
yeah, he's built his house.
I can
there.
vote right now, can't I? If I'm a
One of
chairman,
the
say I'm gonna
kids,
vote
the
for chairman
boys,
right now,
is on
why can't we do it right
another
now?
part right up the road.
We got the board right here.
You got my vote, Stages.
Appreciate it, brother.
When do we, is that January meeting we're supposed to do that, or when's our next?
3 months from now.
March.
March meeting.
Yeah, we'll just do that at that
His
meeting.
meeting's what, quarterly?
We'll just end it like we are.
So that's it for that, thank you.
Sorry.
Those are the 4 biggies on the table.
That's good, things are slowing down, ain't they?
Well, we really got sidetracked again.
Well, it was a good conversation, man, cause there's a lot going on. Yeah. Who's
Hey.
New chairman.
Order.
All right, other business, we're moving on, Mike, you good?